Are we on? Oh. Hey, welcome to another Google Maps API Developer Office Hours. Today we'll actually be talking about the Places API, and I'm joined by, to my right, Andrew Bennetts.
Hi.
Software engineer, and Marcelo Camelo.
Hello.
Who's the tech lead for the Places API. So you may have seen this morning we launched Place Photos and Radar Search. If you haven't seen that, go and check out the Google Developers blog, and I'll show you that in a moment. But first we have some news on the Places API challenge. All the entries are in. Thank you for submitting your apps. We've had some great apps. I've just had a quick look before I came down here, and we'll be displaying those for public voting on the 12th of December. So next week you'll be able to vote on all of the apps that people have submitted. And I think early next year we announce the winners. Yeah. So without further ado, let's talk radar search and photos. So tell me a little bit about photos, maybe.
Let me start with radar search.
Okay.
Because I'll let Andrew talk about photos because he worked directly on that. So the idea with radar search was to be able to return more than just the 60 results that we currently return. A lot of developers ask for the ability to do stuff like a heat map, with being able to show which areas have more the greatest concentration of a certain type of business, or say that you're doing a real estate website and you're showing a specific property and you want to be able to show every single grocery shop or every single school around the specific location with a much broader viewport than just the ones that you usually are able to show with 20 results.
So we actually do have pagination as well, right?
Not on
the regular search.
On the regular search, yes.
Yeah.
So the pagination on regular search is more aimed towards you having a scrollable list.
Yeah.
Ideally, an infinite scrollable list, but then only limited to 60 results in page of 20.
Yeah.
Right. And the idea of the radar search is initially we offer 200 results. And depending on how it goes, it can even offer more.
Okay. So if I want more detailed results, I use pagination for search. But if I want a huge amount, and I think it's just the location and a place reference that comes.
Yeah, you get just a location so you can show a point where the place is, and you get a reference so you can maybe on a user click display more details about the place.
Cool. Great. Yeah, I can see some great walk score sort of applications for that. Definitely some cool things. And so all the filters are available for radar search?
Yes, you can search by keyword, which is a really nice differentiator of the Place API. So you can do search like we did on the demos, just saying nice views, right? It's not really a categorical search, but it will return you places that have either advertise themselves as having nice views, or people have written reviews saying that it has nice views. You can also use type search, so you can search for bars or restaurants or any of the types that we support. You can also, what are the filters that we have? So
it's all the usual types and keywords and categories.
Yeah, I think one of the features that people don't use enough is the keyword search. I think that's a really awesome feature of the Places API. So if you haven't used it before, it searches over all of the data that Google has about a place, so reviews, the categories and the tags that are provided by the place.
Even sometimes the actual content on the Places webpage, official webpage.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
So so it searches over things that you can't even get back on the Places API.
Yeah, it does.
That, we wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah. Okay. So let's go over to a demo of radar search. So this is on our Google Geo Developers blog. So this was posted up earlier today. So you can see here we're using the heat map feature of the JavaScript API to show the nicest views in Sydney. So if I zoom in, I can't zoom in. So you can see they're all sort of situated around the harbour. lots around Darling Harbour, and yeah, so this is quite an accurate look at the best views in Sydney, really. We can go over it. So this is another one of my favourites. So essentially, you can use look for Chinese restaurants anywhere in any city, and you can figure out where Chinatown is. So you can see this quite accurately locates Chinatown in San Francisco, which is great. ATMs in Manhattan. So I'm not sure exactly what this one is indicating.
So this pretty much indicates that you have ATMs all over the place. So there isn't an ATM suburb in Manhattan.
Great. And clothing stores in Paris. This one's great. So you can see here also that the search is limited by the bounds. So it's actually the bounds of the initial search. So you can see you don't get back any results outside the bounds. So you can quite nicely limit the results to just the area that you're interested about.
On this specific demo, we've chosen to display the results as a heat map, but you're not actually limited to. You can use whatever you want. The other option is just to show measles or points or even markers.
Yeah. Okay, and so another thing, are the results returned in any sort of order?
Just our prominence ranking.
Okay, so yeah, okay. So we're joined by Justin down in the Hangout. So Justin is joining us from Mountain View. He's the product manager for Places. Hi, Justin.
Hello.
Hey, Jason.
How you guys doing?
Oh, we can't hear you. Are you?
I'm not muted. It says I'm
we
going well.
have the local sound turn off. Okay, so how excited are you about these launches?
So excited.
Great.
We can tell.
No, we've been working really hard on these things.
Jumping up and down, man.
We've been working really hard on these things for a while now, and we're super pumped to get these out to developers so they can make their applications even prettier and better. So yeah, props to you guys. Obviously, Andrew and Marcelo sitting there for working so hard on these things.
Yeah, I believe these are two of the most requested features at the moment. So
More results
close
and
off.
photos, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, on that note, if you are interested in having a new feature in the API, we definitely listen to that feedback. So go and file your feature request on the issue tracker. There's links from the documentation. So yeah, the most popular ones are definitely catch our interest, and we try to work on those as much as possible. So let's talk about photos.
Yeah.
Let's.
So we now return photos as part of our results in the Places API. So you get, on searches, you just get a single photo, and when you look up the details for a place, you get 10 photos. They're given back as just photo reference strings like place references, and you can fire off a request to actually get the pixels of the photo. Yeah, so it just gives you photos of the place taken by Google users, business owners, the pictures that you would find on Google Plus Local, and then we now present them through the Places API. So
Great.
you can make a much more visually appealing summary of the place in your application because you can show a picture of it.
So who would use this kind of feature? Is it the sort of searching kind of app so that they can display some photos, or is it or as a business owner would I use this to display photos of my store?
I mean, I would think it's more the former. If you're a business owner, you probably already have photos of your own. You don't need to ask us for them.
Yeah.
Although you might want to see the user generated photos that have been provided to Google. So a bit of that, but mainly I think it's. I mean, we'll see what people do with it, but I would expect that it'll be people wanting to show it in their search results and show a little teaser photo, and then you can click through and find out more about the place.
Cool. So Oh, so it's probably worth noting that both of these features are available through the web service and the JavaScript API. So obviously the demos in the blog post are using the JavaScript API, but you can do all of that with the web service. So it's great for a mobile application. For example, you can still show the photos quite easily. So if we switch over to the demo, let's have a look at some photos. Okay. So here we're using the Places autocomplete. So this is actually the search box, which lets you do sort of unstructured queries like pizza. So it's or if I said PIZZ, it's going to suggest me pizza. So I can say pizza any near, and it's going to suggest me something. So I can look for pizza near Sydney, for example. So here we're actually just getting the photos and putting them straight onto the map as markers, which is quite cool. So you can get a quick view at all of these results.
Yeah, so at this point the demo's just done a search, and so it's just got the one photo.
So what's another good one? Maybe
I like meat pie.
Meat pie, okay. So meat pies. Oh, let's have a look up here. Oh, this is my favorite pie shop. Up here.
Does your favorite pie shop not have any photos? You should
No
upload
photos.
some.
That's quite sad. Okay. Pie in the Sky in Barara, by the way. Awesome pies.
There's always good old Harry's Cafe de Wheels in Woolloomooloo or Potts Point.
Great. So so we've got this little light box that's popped up. It's just pulling down the photos. Really straightforward to implement. So you can add some great variety into your apps using this feature. So any other details on this?
So you can request the photo in any size, that like up to the size of the photo we provide. You could say, oh, actually, I only want that to a maximum of 400 width or height.
So I think we're actually doing that to get these thumbnail size
exactly,
photos.
right. We're getting the photo and we're saying that we just want the little thumbnail, and then we want it to fit within the fixed size of the light box there.
Yep.
I think
I
that's
think there's I'm talking about can specify other max height or max width,
yes.
right? So it's really easy to make it fit into
Right.
into a predefined grid or predefined box.
And I believe there's some attributions that need to
Yeah.
be shown as well. So I think that's the only limitation on this service.
Yeah, you got to show the little. There's just like on the place responses in general has an HTML attributions field. This also has HTML attributions as a field from the web service, or and so you just have to show a little bit of HTML so it credits back basically which user uploaded the photo or which source it came from.
Yep. So if you'd like to find more about these two features, definitely go and check out our Places API documentation. You can get to that through the blog post that's on googlegeodevelopers.blogspot.com. So check that out, or you can look at the Google Plus post that was posted earlier this morning. So yeah, that's an overview of place photos and radar search. Two of my favorite features.
Mine too.
Oh, you say that to everyone.
I do. I say that about all the APIs.
You just love APIs so much.
I do love APIs. So anything else happening in the Places land other than the Places challenge?
Heaps of stuff. But
Yeah. Any cool apps that you've seen recently?
cool apps.
Justin, do you have any?
Yeah,
any
there were-
thoughts?
There was a recent blog post on, I think, GeoDeveloper's blog about QS, a quick Street View, which essentially uses both the Street View API as well as the Place API autocomplete. And essentially it was a super awesome demo of how virtually moving through the world at a fast pace, like as you can see in this demo, it's just so much fun. Like knowing that I can go to any place in the world at any moment in time with the Place API service, the Street View service, is super powerful. And I've definitely wasted way too much time on this, maybe even at work too. But don't tell Andrew and Marcelo that.
All right, let's have a look at that. So this is it is indeed on the GeoDeveloper blog. So this is qsview.com.
Big. You're getting so big.
So start typing an address. Where do you live?
Try Newport.
Newport.
Or
Okay.
somewhere else.
I'll probably type NSW, won't I? Because
Yeah, just because of the very.
So type slower so that people can see like it's actually doing Street View queries as you're typing as well.
Oh yeah, sorry, my internet is slow for some reason. So if I just type N.
Well, that's not going to work. So keep going for that.
NEWP. So, oh, that was an indoor. That looked like an indoor inside the New Orleans airport.
Oh wow.
How do I get into that? Okay. P. Okay, so this is some guy's house. Newport Road in Irishtown. That's an awesome name for a town, by the way. So Newport Beach. Is that going to get me into Street View? What am I doing?
That's, yeah.
Okay. News. Oh yeah, that's picturesque.
It's very nice, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So and now we're finally at Newport, New South Wales. Oh yeah, that is indeed Newport. But we want the beach, don't we?
Always.
Oh, that's not the beach, is it?
Well, that's where the beach is.
I guess
Oh,
yeah,
right.
maybe that's
It's just
beach,
down the street.
beachfront, isn't it? What else would be cool? Maybe let's see if there's Mrs. Macquarie.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Oh, look at that.
Beautiful. Such a nice spot there.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else?
Not that I'm allowed to disclose at this moment.
I expect eventually when the Grand Canyon will be in there somewhere, but
So yes, next mashup, QS View with Places Radar Search. So you get all the markers inside the thing. That would be awesome.
Wow, yeah, I agree.
A challenge.
Challenge to develop.
Okay, well that's it for this week. Stay tuned. Go to developers.google.com/live/maps for upcoming GDL events, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Chris.
yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, guys.
See you,
See you later.
Justin.